There is a moment buried inside one of Tom Hanks's most celebrated films that he has openly admitted he cannot bring himself to revisit. The scene in question comes from his work in Philadelphia, where he delivered what many consider the most emotionally exposed performance of his career. Hanks, in preparing for the role of Andrew Beckett, a man dying of AIDS in an era defined by fear and stigma, pushed himself into psychological territory that left marks long after filming wrapped. He has described the experience of watching himself in that state as something too raw, too uncomfortably close to grief that didn't fully belong to him yet somehow became his. Actors of his caliber don't simply perform emotion, they borrow it from somewhere real, and the cost of that borrowing isn't always visible until the camera stops rolling. What Hanks's reluctance reveals is something Hollywood rarely discusses openly: the transaction that happens when a performer gives a role everything. The industry celebrates the result, the awards, the standing ovations, the cultural legacy, but the interior experience of becoming someone else at that depth is rarely part of the conversation. Hanks has spent decades being perceived as the everyman, the safe harbor of American cinema, and yet that accessibility on screen is built on a willingness to go to places most people spend their lives avoiding. When he says he won't watch a particular scene, he isn't being modest or evasive. He is acknowledging that some performances don't end when the credits roll, and that the most honest work an actor can do sometimes leaves a residue that no amount of time or distance fully dissolves.